Hello everyone, Bashar here. So I have an old build for you. It's a little bit outdated, but so why do I, go into an outdated build at the eve of the new season? So the thing is, guys, this is a very good character for leveling. It's an old build, but I do have a few suggestions to make it better. So what is it? It's Evasion Deadeye. It makes use of acrobatics to penalize its own evasion rating, but all around the place we have a lot of evasion nodes and we do have rather high evasion. Let me show you this. This is not the real amount. Let me show you. I do believe it was 81%. This guy has been retired for a while. 81%. It's not even full. So guys, why am I relying on a buff? So the thing is, this buff is a bit of a permanent thing for us. It comes from our ascendancy, so it goes away when we take a hit. And the idea of this build is to not take a hit, and if you take a hit, you just double back a little bit and build up your tailwind stacks. So whenever you take action, you gain a stack, right? It stacks up to 10 times, and it gives you movement speed, attack speed, and evasion rating, right? And the thing is, our evasion works for everything, right? Imagine getting rid of every single attack 81% of the time. It's very good. The weakness of it is, why am I saying it's outdated? The weakness of it is, guys, even with 81%, there is a 90% chance that it lands, right? For the sake of simplicity, let's assume 80% to 20%. That means 4% of the time you would be taking back-to-back hits. And the thing is, evasion does nothing to mitigate that damage, right? 2 back-to-back hits, one of them is a crit. Even with my acceptable-ish 2000 HP, I will die. So what is better is that you use a helmet like Atsiri maybe, and some energy shield nodes, having a bit lower evasion altogether, but a nice amount of energy shield, and if you combine that with Grim Feast, it will go double. So, let's say, guys, 2k HP, 1k energy shield, the character would be much more durable. But it's very nice. So first of all, guys, I have been playing slow characters. The movement speed is beautiful. I have missed it. Let me stack it to full. It should be around 60%, I think. 57.1%. Yeah. When the tailwind is there. But the thing is that, right, you can fully assume tailwind to be there, right? Normally I wouldn't bank on it because it's a conditional buff. The thing is, whenever we take action, we gain stacks. And as I said, the build is based on not taking hits. This HP, etc., is there to ensure that we can be rid of one hit, and that's it, right? I mean, of course, maybe smaller hits we can take 3 or 4, but we can take one decent hit most of the time. And sadly, I cannot say we are not getting one-shotted, right? If the map modifiers are nasty, we can and will get one-shotted. That's why I'm suggesting the energy shield approach. So I do have a nice bow in here. I did get this quite some time ago, but I believe it's still worth hundreds of divines. I believe this was 540 DPS with +3 projectiles, some dexterity and crit damage bonus, altogether a very nice bow. My arrows, my quivers icon might be surprising to you. It's the worst kind of quiver on the face of the earth, but it's an extremely good quiver, so I went for it. What you want on the quiver is both skills, 2 projectile skills. That's not that's not being even argued, right? It's extremely important because we will have a lot of stuff that banks on increasing our bonuses from the quiver. So if you don't have this +2, you are going to lose out on +5, +6 all skills. So you want attack speed, dexterity, projectile, increase damage with both skills. For some variants, increased arrow speed is also important. Increased projectile speed is also important because there is a I keep confusing the name. There is a notable that converts projectile speed increases and decreases into damage increase and damage decrease, which means you get damage out of that. So that's why some people are using it, because you do not really mind if the projectiles are fast or slow. I mean, mines are not especially fast, but as you can see, they do go rather fast. And you do want a lot of flat damage added because that does get added. There is another variant in which you use the basic unique bow, Widow Hail, I believe it was called. You corrupt it with a Warlord and you try to get a high bonus from quiver. So it does nothing but give you a quiver bonus. But the good thing is you can invest, some divines into the Widow Hail, right? 280%, 270%, and of course the higher you go, the more expensive it gets. It can go up to like 300, then that's worth above 100 divine, keep in mind. But then you can fully invest in the quiver because you are going to get a ton of bonuses for the quiver. I mean, you will go upwards of 500% from the quiver, so whatever you have on the quiver is going to be very nice. So I'm using a regular helmet with a lot of evasion, but as I said, accessory is definitely a good candidate. Accessory with a spirit corruption would be nice. For the neck, I went for some resistance and projectile skills. Doomsayer is the anointment. Doomsayer increases herald damage and herald AoE, right? And so the idea of the build, I will just show it to you. Herald of Ice will, I think, shock or something like that, and Herald of Thunder with freeze, right? The other way around. So they will trigger off each other, and I will fire an arrow, and the entire screen will explode and freeze. That's the general idea, right? So even the +3 projectile skill is not that big of a must. Why? Because thing is, guys, the energy cost of the lightning arrow goes insane, right? And the thing is, the only mana sustain that we have will be, most of the time, a single 2% mana until duel. And take a look at my mana. 1200. So I'm gonna get like 24, 25 mana per enemy kill, right? Take a look at this. And my lightning arrow is like level 31 or so. So you go higher and higher, the mana becomes absolutely unmanageable. And by the way, I have inspiration in this lightning arrow. I will be showing it to you in a few minutes, right? So 40% cost reduction is there. That is the 40% reduced cost. So yeah, you don't want to go too high. So you can let go of this projectile. You can grab some more spirit. As for the rings, these are rather old. Well, they are not too bad. I mean, to cap the resistance, I do have a breach ring and I do have an amethyst ring, and I'm wearing something very weird, guys. I'm wearing a regular belt. So this belt dropped to me very early in the season. I don't know, like maybe 1 month in, and it is pretty good, as you can see. So I stuck to it, but of course Ingenuity would be better. Headhunter could be better if you are planning on mapping. For bossing, Headhunter doesn't do anything, but for mapping, Headhunter is very good because this build is very mobile. You just you keep stacking the bonuses from Headhunter and they don't expire. I mean, by the time they expire, you will have like 3 new ones. The chest is going to be very high evasion, as you can see. 2,700s are possible. And some additional meaningful stats is good. I mean, the higher the evasion, the better, because, guys, we will have a node that will double our evasion from the chest. So that's how that is achieved. Because, guys, acrobatics is going to penalize our evasion by 70%. So, guys, in order to reach these evasion levels, I need to have above 30,000 evasion. Yeah, it's a little bit insane. I mean, let me stack it again so you can see how much is this. Yeah. Okay, fully realized it's 12,000, and imagine this is 70% penalized. This is 30% of the original value. So I have something like 40,000 evasion normally without acrobatics. And this is a little bit much, but around 75% should be okay. And that's why I'm suggesting accessory. The evasion loss from here would not bring us too much below. And for the gloves, we have Hand of Wisdom and Action. So Hand of Wisdom Action can corrupt in myriad ways. The attack speed per dexterity can go up to 4%. So normally it's 3% attack speed and 1 to 10 lightning damage per 10 intelligence, right? But it can be corrupted up to 1 to 12 lightning damage per intelligence, and it can be corrupted to 4% attack speed per 25 dexterity, and you can also get both of them at the same time. So, and those are extremely expensive, so I went for the budget call there. I went for the lightning damage and not the attack speed. These would be around like 20, 15 divines. I haven't been in the market for Hand of Wisdom and Action in a while, but that would be about it. You know, a regular Hand of Wisdom and Action are about like 2 divine, and the meaningful corruptions are about 20. And if you want double, then it's gonna be pretty high. So, and this makes intelligence a better scaling stat for you than dexterity. Right. Finally, we have some boots. Obviously, you want to go for the 35% movement speed. Resistances, I do have a bit of rarity, as you can see. How much is it now? 86%. And you know, I built this empire, guys, in air quotes, I believe with 60 rarity. So for the flask, you can definitely grab the unique life flask. Overrot is fine, but it's also very expensive. But you know, it will do wonders for your survival, because this character is not survivable like most other characters. You know, you take a hit in and you immediately back it up with Allrot, then you will avoid a lot of deaths. Sadly, these days it's extremely expensive, upwards of 40 divine if I recall. The unique mana flask we actually don't want, right? And it's being suggested in a lot of guides. I'm guessing because they are a different variant. In this variant, we definitely don't want it. I mean, I wouldn't use it if someone gave it to me for free. Why? Because, guys, let me show it to you. I should have a few in the stash. Okay, so let's take a look at this. Effect is not removed, blah, blah, blah. Deals 25% of current mana as chaos damage to you when effect ends. So there is a problem with this. That is very weird, but, guys, this does count as a hit, and it removes your tailwind stacks. Beats me. Very silly, because you know, it's part of its effect. We are not actually taking a hit, right? But it removes the tailwind stacks. And thing is, guys, when we use tailwind stacks, we lose movement speed, we lose skill speed, and most importantly, we lose evasion, right? All of a sudden, that 81% evasion of ours goes to 76%, right? And the general idea with this class is, with this build is, guys, you gain your tailwind stacks and you never lose them, right? They are always with you, right? Or maybe you lose them once or twice throughout a whole map, right? That's the general idea. So, as for a charm, I'm using stun charms. Stun charms are a little bit bad, because what they do is, guys, when you get stunned, it prevents further stuns for 2.5 seconds. That's what it does. It doesn't remove the existing stun. So, you know, you could definitely use a freeze charm here, one of the two, right? I mean, sometimes you do get multiple hits and you get stunned a few times, so I'm using that one, but I definitely wouldn't object to someone using freeze charms. So what about the skills? We have Lightning Arrow, Martial Tempo, Ice Bite, Primal Armament, Innervate, and Inspiration, like I told you. Lightning Rod, Scatter Shot, Concentrated Effects, Rising Tempest, Overcharge, and Heft. I didn't get into this. This Lightning Arrow is for mapping. Orb of Storm's Lightning Rod is for bossing. You never use these. Mapping is just Lightning Arrow only. Then there are the Herald of Thunder and Ice. Cold Infusion, as I told you, you get freezes with Herald of Thunder, and you get shock with Herald of Ice, so they trigger off each other. Glaciation, Long Shot, Lightning Mastery. Herald of Ice is Lightning Infusion, Conduction, Magnified Effect, Cold Mastery. As you can see, guys, the Herald of Ice is shocking and the Herald of Thunder is freezing, so they do go off each other, and as I said, screen-wide explosions. Cast on Shock, this is only for bossing. Ball Lightning, Deceleration, Impetus, Energy Retention. And as you can see, I have been a bit of a cheap ass. Herald of Ice is level 19. I didn't get the level 20, and these are very expensive. I didn't get the 6 links. There is Wind Dancer, you have only blind in it. This is an extremely good support. This gives us a lot of evasion, and this also goes away when you get hit. So as the whole build is based on not being hit, so this gains an additional level of layer, right? As you can see, I have 4 stacks here. The last stack comes from quality. So the first gem that you should use your quality on is Wind Dancer. I'm talking about this for the new season, right? This season we all are living in currency. You can do everything. Obviously, you are going to quality everything, but at the beginning of season, Wind Dancer is the first. Now, Wind Dancer, Lightning Arrow, somewhere there. Orb of Storms, Chain, Persistence, Unleash, Overabundance. As you can see, it's not very much leveled. So this is so that the intelligence requirement doesn't go up. So for the bosses, what we do is we do the Orb of Storms, we spam Lightning Arrow, and the rods will trigger and they will do insane damage. But this is extremely draining for mana. Normally you will run out of mana. If you have a decent character, for map bosses you won't need, but for endgame bosses you will need, sadly, this setup, which I don't like at all. Where is it? Yes, this ring. So guys, this ring is the only source of mana per hit in the game. Sad. Bad design. The leech doesn't do it because it's slow. This gives 15 mana per hit, and if you do mana quality on it, it goes up to 18. So the reason I despise this item is, guys, it prevents you from using your other ring slot, right? This is terrible. So what I do is, I do map normally, but when I do bosses, I switch this, and so my resistance stay cap, I also bring this one along, this amulet. So I take my rings off, I take my amulet off, I put these two on. Right? And for bosses, guys, you have to bring cast on shock so that ball lightning is cast. So how do you do that? Because the one thing that is good about this build is, guys, it's pretty budget. I do not have spirit anywhere, as you can see, right? So what you do is, before the boss, you turn off the heralds and you turn on the cast on shock. So what if you want more? That's why I suggested, accessory with a spirit corruption, maybe some lower projectile skill levels amulet in favor of a spirit amulet. So you can bring Green Feast, that will help, right? I mean, from accessory you will get the energy shield, and you will get some energy shield nodes, and you will have a tangible energy shield which will get doubled by Green Feast. So you will want some spirit there, and even a 20 spirit, which is the absolute minimum, right? Accessory will sort the Green Feast out, right? But if you also wanna, let's say, play with cast on shock while mapping, you will need 60 more. You can get it from the amulet and the chest, but of course, guys, getting a spirit chest with a very high evasion would be pretty expensive. And another problem is that all of these are prefixes, right? The evasion increasing stuff is prefixes, as you can see here, and spirit is also a prefix. So you would have to sacrifice some evasion, but that's okay, right? You don't have to go all the way to 81% or something. So let me grab a map. The disadvantages of this character, guys. So other than the normal stuff, monsters penetrate resistances, reduce player resistances, those are annoying. For this character also, monsters have increased ailment threshold. Is very annoying because that thing with the heralds will not work, right? Because your cold damage will not be sufficient to inflict freeze, and then the chain explosions will stop. So there is that. So, I'm not saying you can't do those maps, but, for some time I did them, and then for convenience, I just let them go, right? I was not doing the monsters have increased ailment threshold maps. They are doable. You just will not get the glorious screen exploding explosions. Okay, so about the tree, I didn't go into that. So the ascendancy is pretty nice. You start with gathering winds when leveling. This is advice for the new season. Then you go for this one when you are near, so you get point blank for more damage. Then you get this, that's an additional projectile, and the bow's implicit will give you another. You should get a dual swing bow. And finally, you will go to this one, that's 30% damage reduction. That is what prevents us from getting one-shotted. So this is the general output for the tree. So this is the quiver bonuses, so you will have 80% quiver bonus there. And for jewels, you will want quiver bonuses all around. You just want one blue jewel for 2% mana on kill. Because otherwise we will not be able to handle our mana. We will have an Against the Darkness in here, That's pretty nice. The kind that we want is cold and lightning. Cold is very important because unless you are getting a lot of cold damage from your rings and gloves or whatever, you will not have enough cold damage to freeze, then the character's strategy will not work. So we go for elemental damage stuff here. We go for increased attack speed per dexterity. There is the acrobatics here. As you can see, this is a highly popular node. I do not have it. Where is it? The thing? Yes. Yeah, so this is the one I'm talking about, guys. Increase and reductions to projectile speed, also apply damage with bows. So obviously if your quiver has increased projectile speed, you will go for this, or your gear all around has this one. I don't have this, so I have dropped this, but obviously it's worth getting. Increase freeze build up, increase stun build up, that sort of stuff. Skill speed, movement speed, lots of jewels, area. I'm 97, by the way. I'm level 97. I didn't go. This character is very good for ritualing. It's pretty fast all around. Okay, let me grab a map. I was just going to that. Delirium you can handle up to like 50%, guys. Because Delirium will give them damage reduction that will prevent them from getting frozen and it will turn ugly. This character is not very good for Simulacrum at all. I mean, you kind of want an energy shield variant because you just can't tolerate the damage that comes from those guys. And you could be saying, what is this build, right? So many weaknesses. But the thing is, it is pretty good for mapping. So let's just do this one. Let's do Delirious. I really miss the movement speed, guys, after the auto bomber and whatnot. Let me see if we have something. Breach? Let's try it. No, I'm just. I should have done a map with a boss, I guess. And Breach level 4 is very easy, but you have to bring the Thief's Torment, the ring. So guys, oh, why are they surviving? See, screen-wide explosions. The first ones did survive somehow. As you can see, guys, 0 hits taken so far. And if you take a hit somehow, just wait up, just take it a bit slow for the, what's the name, Wind Dancer to stack and build some Tailwind stacks as well. What's that about? As you can see, mana is a bit of a problem. I mean, if you fire a few shots with missing and miss, mana can be a problem, but yeah, I have missed the speed. So this is pretty good for a season start, but it's not very easy to rack up a lot of rarity. I suppose with 2 rings that give rarity and an ingenuity, it would be better. You can also handle, what's the name? Audience with the King. That's also doable. Right? You cannot handle Simulacrum at all. I mean, energy shield variant maybe. And when I say you can't handle Simulacrum, guys, I'm talking about low difficulties. I'm not even going into higher difficulties. You just can't. It's not possible. Because it defeats the idea for the build. Yeah, that's the general idea. By the way, I did take 8, eh? Yeah, I did take 8. Take a look at my table stacks. Now, of course, if you get more spirit, blink, etc., sure. Or maybe you could get a second weapon set and do leap slam there after the mason. Lots of alternatives. As you can see, though, we can kill rares pretty good. So guys, my quiver and my bow are pretty good, right? I want to be fair about that. So that's not going to happen with a 20 divine bow and 20 divine quiver. Mines are, I mean, the bow is still quite a bit, I think. I'm not very sure about the quiver. It should also. So guys, I believe actually my quiver is mirror level. It's just the base is extremely awful. Okay. This character is also good for breach farming because guys, mobility is where it counts for breach. I did also skip the breach, right? Okay. Where are you, sir? Why is it survival? That was weird. I'm guessing he had resistance or something. So guys, when you are running like this, right? Remember to do a shot every once and then so the tailwind stacks don't go away. So you need to be on 10 stacks at all times. So guys, the warning shots I was doing, heralding my arrival, get it, herald? Yeah, crossbow, right? I do mana. So guys, you have to find a happy mix between rushing and not dying because in your desire to rush for more loot, you could get killed. Character is not very survivable, and as you can see, can't really do too many shots. The mana will go pretty quickly. But yeah, all around a decent breach, I think. I mean, that's what you could do. It's not a very good map for breaching anyway. So that is this build, guys. And while you should, step out of it at some point, it's a very good build for a season start. Fast movement speed, right? And guys, when leveling, of course, you won't be able to kill everything with lightning arrow. On the earlier levels, for rares, you could use some lightning rod. Orb of Storms is, we acquire that later anyway because it requires 95 intelligence and we don't get it until much later. So what's the attribute distribution, guys? We just want enough strength to do our red gems. I mean, I think 25 does it. 23 could also do it. Something like that, low strength, and we want dexterity to equip our bow. That is 212. That's the highest dexterity requirement, I think. Yeah, 212, and the rest should go into intelligence. So why do I have so much dexterity? I just can't go lower because, guys, the bonus I get from the quiver gets multiplied, so many times. I should have no dexterity in my stats, right? As you can see, everything is intelligence. And if I really have any dexterity nodes, I should be switching them into intelligence. Why is intelligence better, guys? Because of this gives insane damage, right? So what you want is enough dexterity to equip your bow, enough strength to equip your support gems, and all of the rest shall go into intelligence. And guys, even with the 3% attack speed per 25 dexterity, and you add this one on top, it still isn't enough, right? I mean, intelligence still is better for damage. And the thing is, guys, extreme high attack speed is not that good, right? Because take a look at this. Out of mana. I mean, you kind of want your hits to be bigger. And if you pay attention to my bow, that's why I have no attack speed, right? My damage is very high. Take a look at the damage. I mean, I just have the base attack speed 120, right? And I have no increased attack speed on it at all. So my hits are big, so I can fire a shot and kill them. Because that's how I recover my mana. If I were recovering my mana per hit, then attack speed would have been more valuable to me. But as I'm recovering it per kill, I want to shoot my arrows and kill. So that's about it for the build. If you have any questions, feel free to ask. As I said, this is not a very endgame build. I would move into an energy shield version, accessory, some spirit on chest or amulet maybe, definitely green feast, and you could also get cast on shock, but cast on shock is not very good for mapping, right? I mean, it's not required. You could always have blink, of course, if you have edition spirit lying around, and do not allow your lightning arrow to go very high, right? Mine is 31. I think that's about the sweet spot. Maybe 30 could be better. 35 is definitely a bad, right? Because as I said, you won't be able to handle the mana cost, because the amount of mana we recover is 2% of our mana, right? I mean, and there would be some Deadeye with more mana. Maybe they could get some rings and ingenuity or something, but that is about the general mana. And my point is, guys, let's say you have 1,500 mana, and the jewel will give you 30 mana per kill. And if your lightning arrows cost is upwards of 200, I mean, you would have to kill many enemies with a single hit. It would run out pretty quickly. So around 30 is, I would say, is fine for lightning arrow level. As for bosses, as I said, you will have to do lightning arrow, rod. That's just the whole rotation for bosses. And with good enough gear, for my gear, it's enough. And a few mana flasks, I can kill map bosses, right? But yeah, for breach boss, for audience with the king, etc. For those, it's not enough, right? You have to bring Thief's Torment, and that is one of the things that I dislike about this build. Changing gear, I don't like that stuff. And of course, you are weaker in that form. You could forget about it and enter a map with the Thief's Torment setup. There's no need. There are people that don't like to do that, so they just play with Thief's Torment, but that is sacrificing enormous level of power, because guys, Thief's Torment is an okay ring, but it's definitely not worth 2 rings, right? I mean, just because it has mana per hit. I'm hoping they will address this with the upcoming season, because I think it's very bad to have a single mana per hit mechanic in the entire game, and that prevents you from using another ring. So if it wasn't preventing you from using another ring, I would have been all for it, right? It's not a problem, but because it would also free up a jewel slot, right? I wouldn't have to wear the 2% mana on kill jewel, but taking away. And guys, in a day of age of ingenuity, not using one ring is pretty terrible. Yeah. So that's that. Feel free to ask any questions. I'll be happy to help out. See ya.